Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Captain Numpty or Commander Numpty, and I may have just been rumbled.
Launch transient from Sierra 2.
Oh joy. Okay, well I was hoping for a bit more of a longer introduction here, but that's not going to happen. Let's get a weapon off immediately.
2-1, aye,
and
sir.
let's decide we want to make like a tree and get out of here.
062, helm aye.
Oh boy, it's going to be a long one, this one. Okay, so if you
Passing 100 feet.
so feel the need, you might want to grab a snack, because I think this is going to be quite
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
a long mission. Well, as I say, welcome back.
Con sonar, Sierra 1 is classified as submerged
At
submarine.
least if you've been here before.
Con maneuvering, making turns for 15 knots.
If you haven't been here before and you're wondering what's going on, well, I've just been fired upon by an enemy submarine, and it appears that they've all decided they want a piece of me.
Passing
Yeah.
2.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
Okay, this is going to get interesting. We are back in USS Scamp. That's SSN 588. This is a skipjack. Oh, it's even more firing. Skipjack class submarine, and we're in the South China Sea. Now, if you're familiar with cold waters, the skipjack is not a platform that you can generally use in the South China Sea. In fact, you
Passing
can't.
300 feet.
You can't use it in the South China Sea. I'm going to go ahead and leave a little nasty surprise for anything that might be... No, I'm not right now, actually. Let's not do that. Yeah, this boat is not one that is generally used in the South China Sea, and the reason for that, I think I might want to use some cover, actually. Let's go ahead and turn. Turn about 120, I think. 115, 120,
Come right
yeah.
to 117, helm aye.
So I can get over that little bump here and then use this as cover against the incoming barrage of torpedoes. Now, I don't want to lose the immersion too much, but I think if I switch back to this
Con,
view...
helm, steady course.
I see maybe one that's possibly lost in the YouTube compression. Just over the sail, I suppose you might say.
Passing 500 feet.
And it's likely leading me, so it's likely that it's wire guided. Because the plan, the Chinese have all the good fun stuff. Okay. Well, today's mission is meant to be a straightforward interception, just I guess to run through a scenario that is perhaps plausible, but perhaps not. It might even be a simulation of a simulation. What we're doing today is we're going to be using a couple of experimental weapons in an old boat. Now, in the year 2000, none of the skipjacks were still in service. I think the last one was decommissioned in the 92, maybe 93. It was the early 1990s when they were decommissioned and stricken off the US Navy. The permits followed shortly thereafter. In fact, in 2000, the Sturgeon was being phased out, which is a couple of generations newer than the skipjack, but used the same reactor. I digress. So the skipjack is outclassed in this era, and I'm using stock, or at least 1980s vintage sonar. I say stock; it's what comes with the game. So 1984 vintage sonar equipment and fire control. The only thing I've done to the skipjack is I've bumped up the speed. The game thinks they can do 30 knots. I've made it 33. So she's fast. She's kind of small. She can't dive very deep, just 700 foot test depth. And she has got very much prototype updated weapons. Let's take another quick look. Okay, there's just 1, 2, possibly 2 torpedoes. One might be my own, venturing off into the ether. I only see evidence of one launch right now. I don't know if I'm going to get above this little landmass. I think I'm actually going to just
Come
retreat.
left to 055, helm aye.
And the reason why I'm doing 15 knots and not any quicker is because I can still keep a wire on my weapon right
Come
now.
left to 033, helm aye.
What I want to do with this torpedo is cause as much havoc as I possibly can. And to do this, in fact, let's go ahead and push 1 on the keyboard. I'm going to make the sonar active, so when this weapon goes live, it's
Con, helm, steady course.
going to be pinging actively. Now there's
Con
a
sonar, noisemaker bearing 214.
couple of noisemakers, so the plans of the Chinese are clearly aware of the threat approaching them, which is good for them because this is a quiet torpedo. This is a very quiet torpedo. So this is a fictional Mark 52. It's a Mark 52 Mod 0. If it were to be used, it's a pre-production weapon. Let's go ahead and make it live.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Oh, it detected something. Look at that.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 205.
And because it's pinging them, this is going to cause havoc in the Chinese fleet. And there are 15 boats out there. So I've set up a scenario to give
Con
myself
sonar,
a real challenge.
noisemaker bearing 224.
There's another noisemaker. So
Con
that's
sonar, noisemaker bearing
it's working.
207.
So that is 4
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
submarines that are dropping noisemakers. It's gone back for the
Con
original
sonar,
target.
noisemaker bearing 212.
I'm going to go ahead and just manually steer the torpedo to the west. And the reason why I'm doing this is I just want to see what's actually out there. I would say nothing possibly to its northwest. Let's go ahead and turn it round again. Let's aim to the
Con
westernmost.
sonar, noisemaker bearing 205.
There, it's gone back to the original target, maybe? Yes, I think it has. Okay. Which is interesting because there's clearly a lot. There's a lot of active sonar pinging taking place down here.
Con, fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing
I want to
222.
head it west. I want to try and engage whatever's west of here. I also want to get my depth up. The reason why, there we go, is I'm gonna. Okay, that's another torpedo coming at me. Let's just select this. Oh, there's 2. Yay! See, this is kind of ruining the immersion. I think that might be
Passing 500 feet.
a clue I need to go. Let's get up to 20 knots.
Make turns for 20 knots.
I'm going to lose the
Maneuvering
wire. I'm okay with that. I need to
Con,
get some more.
maneuvering, making turns for 20
I'm actually going to
knots.
pitch up quite
Con, helm, steady course.
aggressively. I want to get up to about the
Con,
250
fire
foot.
control, we've lost the wire. Passing 400
That's
feet.
fine.
Make depth 250 feet, dive high.
Right, let's get some more
Con
torpedoes.
sonar, noisemaker bearing. Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Yep, I don't doubt it.
Shoot
1.
tube 2.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 204. Con sonar,
And
noisemaker
second
bearing
one.
201.
Shoot
Yeah.
tube 3.
Con sonar, new contact.
Okay. And let's
Make
go.
turns for 3 knots. Maneuvering eye.
Right, we are going to make like a boat and get out of here. Make like a tree and get out of here. So let's quick look
Con
behind me.
sonar, noisemaker bearing 214.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can use this little channel here to duck behind a bit of cover. Not something you
Con
normally would do
sonar,
in a submarine.
Torpedo in the water.
No,
Torpedo
okay.
in the water. Bearing
That didn't
195.
work. They've clearly got a rumble of me.
Con, knuckle formed.
That's okay. I'm not.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 209.
I would say I'm not massively concerned. That's not entirely true because these torpedoes are
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing.
Passing 300 feet.
dangerous. Let's just say very dangerous. And I should have
Passing 400 feet.
probably run away sooner, but I really wanted to get a bit of an intro out,
Con, knuckle formed.
before they shot at me. But okay.
Passing 5.
Con sonar, torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water.
Yep.
Bearing 210.
This is me dragging most every torpedo the Chinese have behind me.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
That's great. Not cavitating anymore, but
Passing 600 feet.
Con,
okay.
Maneuvering, making turns for 3 knots.
Con, knuckle formed.
It's possible to use terrain to get the torpedoes to run into the, I would say,
Con
the south of a
sonar,
hill.
noisemaker bearing 207.
It's not a hill.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 208.
Con, knuckle formed.
It's the seabed, and it's okay. I'm going to call it the hill because I just am.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 199.
what I want to do is hug the terrain.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 214.
Get them a little
Con
close to
sonar, noise.
Con, knuckle formed.
the side of the rising seabed, and a knuckle, and see if we can get them to run into the seabed. Now it can happen. We might see it behind me. I don't think we will, but we can see it. And if I run to 700 foot, yeah, the seabed's coming up.
Con sonar, no.
Con, knuckle
Yeah,
formed.
so I see right now, this is dangerous for me. I'm getting very close to the bottom of the ocean. I don't want to be running into anything right now. Let's go ahead and turn out the way. Let's give it another knuckle.
Con, knuckle formed. Con, less than 50 feet below
Oh
the
yes,
keel.
yeah, I'm aware. Yeah, that's coming up pretty quickly. I don't think this is going to work.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 215.
For what it's worth, let's give it another knuckle.
Con, knuckle
I'm going
formed.
to turn west. Yeah, this is bad.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 208.
Con, knuckle formed. Passing 600 feet.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
I might see that one behind me run into something, but I don't think I will. I think it's more likely it's
Passing 500 feet.
going to turn around and then come at me again.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing
This one is. All right,
217.
quick noisemaker out for you.
Con sonar, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water,
Oh.
bearing 210.
Con, knuckle formed.
Okay, I don't know whether that's that one that's still seeking me or not. No, it's not. Okay, great.
Con, knuckle formed.
I don't really want to be quite so close to these torpedoes. This is not good. So I've got to get my tail to them. And then...
Con sonar, torpedo in the water, bearing 235.
Con, knuckle formed.
I didn't really want to see that many. Okay, come on. Alright. What's ahead of me? Not so much. I think my idea of using cover was
noisemaker bearing
possibly a little
203.
compromised now. Give this guy another knuckle.
Con, knuckle
Try and get
formed.
the closer one off
Con
me. Okay,
sonar,
that's...
noisemaker bearing
that's helped.
214.
Now, I can hear that the enemy submarines are also working on avoiding something,
Con, knuckle formed.
but I don't know whether they've got 4 stacked on them. Okay, one of them blew up,
400 feet.
but I don't know whether that just ran out of fuel. Probably just ran out of
Passing
fuel.
300 feet.
Another one blew up. Nice shot, but
Passing 200 feet.
it must be operating at the extreme of their
Con,
range,
knuckle formed.
which is good because it helps me. So the Mark 52 has a very long range, or longer than a Mark 48, and longer than most of their torpedoes, which
Con
is good,
sonar, regained contact on.
Con, knuckle formed.
but not if I'm within range of their torpedoes, which I clearly am right now. Although only just,
Con
it would
sonar,
appear.
noisemaker bearing 208. Con
Only
sonar,
just.
noisemaker bearing 215.
Quick look at what's happening out here. Okay.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 216.
Con, knuckle
I
formed.
want to get my depth down a little bit.
Con sonar, lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 210. Contact is in the baffles.
That's not a good
Con,
shot.
knuckle formed.
Okay.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 219.
Alright, this one can't have much
Passing
fuel left.
200 feet.
Surely it can't have much fuel left. Here it comes. Okay, and not a comfortable sight to see
Passing
that.
300 feet.
Go ahead and knuckle it.
Con, knuckle formed.
And I'm going to turn back in towards it and pull up. Okay, great
Passing 300
maneuvering there,
feet.
David. You managed to pull that one off, but
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
not really what I
Con
wanted to
sonar,
do.
no longer
Okay, I'm
cavitating.
going to get my speed aggressively down.
Make de-
Get up to
Make
periscope
turns
depth.
for. Make turns for 5 knots.
See if we can
Maneuvering
see what's
aye.
going on. Okay, so I've managed to avoid their first barrage of fire.
Con sonar, regained contact on. Sierra 1, bearing 210.
So my original plan was to sniper these
Con
guys at
maneuvering,
range.
making turns for 5 knots.
That hasn't really worked, or at least it may have
Con
worked.
sonar, new contact bearing 201. Designated Sierra 6.
But if I've taken any out,
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 221.
I can't tell just yet.
Con sonar, Sierra 6. Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 6. Con sonar, Sierra 2 is classified as submerged submarine.
Okay, so there's
Con
more of them
sonar,
here.
noisemaker bearing 201.
Shoot 2-1.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 222. Con sonar, Sierra 8 is classified as submerged submarine.
What is...
Con sonar, lost contact. Sierra 5, last bearing 202. Contact faded.
Did one of them get really super close to me? It is...
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 214.
Come
What
right to
are they doing?
268. Helm aye.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 200.
Con, dive at 4-5 feet. Dive high.
Con sonar, noisemaker.
Upscope.
I'll explain in just a second what I'm thinking
noisemaker
here.
bearing 223.
Downscope.
Alright, nothing's on
Con
the
sonar,
surface.
new contact bearing 223. Designated Sierra 9. Con sonar, lost contact. Sierra 8, last bearing 229. Contact faded.
Alright, we got at
Con
least
sonar,
one.
lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing 213. Contact faded.
Okay, I don't know what they were or are doing, but what I think is happening is they don't have a clue where I am, and they can't detect my launches, which is by design, because the Mark 52 is designed to be sneaky, very sneaky, low observable technology, so it doesn't get compressed out of the torpedo tube. It gets it swims out. It doesn't get blasted out. It swims out. Now, some of the British Tigerfish torpedoes, in fact, I think Spearfish can as well, can also do this. It avoids that big spike of noise. So, when I launch the Mark 52 torpedo, it swims out of the tube and doesn't make a lot of noise, and that means that it's hard to detect. Now, they may hear the torpedo, but the torpedo is also incredibly quiet. And they do detect it, and it is noisier when it's in attack mode. It runs quicker and it's noisier. But the point here is that it's a very quiet weapon, and you can sneak up on them and clobber them. And well, I'm not so sure I'm going to say it's worked, but let's F4 and cycle through the weapons, that F3 even, that we can see. So that's my Mark 52. That's on its way out to find something. There's a sunken torpedo in the submarine in the distance. Next one is one of their torpedoes. That's 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 mine. Okay, so there's not that much going on right now, other than I'm detecting a lot of active sonar pings, and I'm quite some distance from the enemy. Now, the mindset, the ethos behind the Mark 52, and this is a hypothetical fictional torpedo. You've got a very long range. It's very sneaky, and it's got a good quality sensor head. You fire it at long range, assuming that you can detect the enemy, and you let it run its course. There's a 40-something minute time on the torpedo, so it can be in the water for a long time. You do have passive and active guidance, so you're able to actively ping them, which is what I did earlier on. Doing that is great for causing the enemy to kind of get into panic stations, because they're like, whoa, there's a torpedo out here, I didn't even know it was here. They then reveal and give away where they are. And that's perfect, as far as I'm concerned, because I can then lob more torpedoes at them. Why is it on the skipjack? Well, it's... the idea I have in mind here is not that it's going to be something you would install on a skipjack normally. No. No, instead, this is something they'd put on the Seawolf, possibly. But it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't ready in time for when the Seawolf was in production, so they're just experimenting with it and in the South China Sea campaign the year is 2000. So this is 25-year-old technology. So a small number of pre-production Mark 52s are available. They're Mod Zeros, and we're going to get to experiment with them, and so here we are. The idea behind them is, like I say, you detect the enemy at long range, you get a torpedo out before they have even detected you back, and they don't detect your torpedo coming towards them, and by the time they do detect your torpedo, you will be a distance away from it. You've maybe changed location, and or of course the torpedo has traveled for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or however long it takes. Now right now this torpedo will be very much giving away my location. What I'm going to do though, it looks like they fired upon themselves. Their torpedo here, let's just select it. Yeah, it's targeting something. So, way to go, plan. It's getting close as well. So, they're managing to shoot themselves. They've stopped pinging actively. Oh yeah, there's one. Yeah, it's probably around about here. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn this torpedo more southwest. It does have 36 minutes.
Sonar lost contact. Sierra 3,
Sunk
last
themselves.
bearing 239. Contact breaking up.
Numpties. And in a way, I think it's possibly it's a bit of a hindrance with the skipjack, because my onboard sensors are not good enough to be able to detect them at long range. These diesel electric boats are quiet. Now the hands, yes, absolutely, they're a noisy boat. So I'm above the layer right now. I'm at periscope depth. I'm going to drop down below the layer and see if that helps, because there's a lot of active sonar going on to my south-southwest, but I can't detect what's actually doing it. I'd like to detect it so I can send this torpedo on its way and maybe panic them a bit more and send some more torpedoes. The skipjack class
Passing 100 feet.
does have another weakness. It's only got one wire. And I've stuck with the original one wire and the original sonar equipment. So we're not able to launch...
sonar regained contact on Sierra 6, bearing 204.
We're not able to launch 6 torpedoes and wire guide them towards the target, although as sweet as that would be. Let's look at this torpedo to my south-southeast. It's about to run it into the seabed.
Passing 200 feet.
And then that's perfect as far as I'm concerned, because yeah, we don't need the complication of extra torpedoes heading my way. So my torpedo is in much deeper water. Let's go ahead and make it active. Okay. So it's not detecting anything. I'm going to ping actively with it. What I think, or what I want this to do, is persuade the enemy that it's working. There's more active pinging. They're like, whoa, what's going on? Now I am vulnerable here. What I mean by that is if they fire along the vector that I am, it's entirely possible that that torpedo will, of course, go past mine and head straight for me. But I've got 8,000 yards to consider changing course and direction, and hopefully not repeating what I did earlier on.
Sonar regained contact on Sierra 2, bearing 213.
I'm going to circle back on myself and see if I can get a better idea of where Sierra 2
fire control, weapon acquired.
and Sierra 6 are. Okay, so I'm going to guess it's picked up Sierra 6. I'm going to guess that. I don't know for sure, because the torpedo's dropping down to a depth, and that red-blue flashing sometimes means it can't lock on. It also means it's changing its depth. Oh, let's turn off the active sonar and see if it goes to a solid red. It does. Okay. So it appears that it's acquired the target, and it's probably the song just going on the depth. Now I don't know where that kilo is, but I think we can pretty much extrapolate where the song is, and it's a good 2,000 yards away from torpedo 1. Let's turn torpedo 1 around, see if we can pick up this kilo. So I can send another torpedo to deal with the song. No problem. Let's have it pinging around here a little bit. Okay, we think it's further south, so let's go ahead and do that. Drive this torpedo towards what we think it is. In the song, of course, we're getting more and more accurate. If I fire a second torpedo, it's not going to be wire guided. So I got to get a pretty good idea of where the song is, and I do right now know where it is. I'm going to get my depth up to maybe 150 foot, but I'm not going to do that using the autopilot. I'm going to go ahead and manually do that. Let's have Torpedo 1 do some snake action.
Passing 200 feet.
I'm going to get my depth up right. It's detected something. I don't know what it's detected, but hopefully it'll feed that information back to my sensors and I'll get a better idea what that is. It's good enough on the depth. Now, the reason why I'm getting my depth up is because I want to send another torpedo this way, and I don't want it to run into the side of the seabed. So, I also want to be below the layer. It's not going to hear my torpedo launch, so that's very interesting. There's 3 torpedoes being launched from a distant
sonar
target.
regained contact on Sierra 1, bearing 201.
What has it detected? I'm gonna guess it's Sierra 1. No, maybe not. Maybe it really is. No, it's not that either. I don't know what this torpedo has acquired, because I can't match the depth to anything. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Now this song, let's see, does he know where I am? Hasn't got a clue. So I think I can take advantage of this. I can fire another torpedo pretty much in his direction, like so. 2,000 yards away from me, there's a bit of a danger that it's going to turn around and bite me.
Sonar noisemaker bearing 224.
Let's get it out, like so, and let's go back to Torpedo 1 and manually steer it back towards that noisemaker.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Can't determine what it is. So Sierra 6 has no idea that he's been launched upon right now. I'm going to have to just...
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Come left 2.
I'm going to change direction now. Let's get above the layer. Continue steering Torpedo 1 towards the target. I'm going to turn off active sonar. I think we've done enough.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Okay, maybe it's the Han.
Passing 100 feet.
No. No, we don't know what it is.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Yeah, and whatever it is, it's
Con,
close.
sonar lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 199. Contact faded.
Make depth 4, 5 feet, dive high.
And I think that Torpedo 1 has acquired a different target now. Yeah, I think it has. It might be going for Sierra 2.
Dive at 4, 5.
Con, sonar launch transient from Sierra 6.
Okay, 6 has identified it's been
Con,
fired
sonar
upon.
noisemaker bearing 217.
With about 2,500 yards to go, so I am deciding I'm going to
Come
run.
left 2. Make turns for 159.
Con, sonar, we are cavitating.
I'm gonna run. I'm gonna get up to flank speed. I'm gonna lose the wire on this torpedo, but that's
Make
okay.
turns for 3 knots.
Yeah,
Maneuvering
see,
aye.
this torpedo's wire guided.
Come left 2. 033. Helm aye.
Right, Torpedo 1, you'll be on your own soon.
Con, sonar lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing 219. Contact is
Con, helm, steady course.
You know what to do, and the second torpedo has acquired the song, it
Con,
looks
fire
like.
control, we've lost
Okay.
the wire.
So see there, as soon as I lost the wire on Torpedo 1, I can't detect it anymore. Now, mostly, it's in my baffles. It's behind me, and I'm running
Con,
up to
sonar
30 knots.
noisemaker bearing 214.
I'm actually on the way up to 33 knots, but that's irrelevant at this point, so I am running away.
Con, sonar noisemaker bearing 218.
Let's jump into my boat, and I think I want to get my depth down just a little bit, or actually no, quite a lot of it. So I'm maybe not cavitating so much.
Passing 100 feet.
There is a bit of cover I could try and use here,
Passing 200
but I
feet.
got to get to it first, and that's going to be a bit of a challenge.
Passing 300 feet.
But I think it's doable.
Passing 400 feet.
Yeah, see the ocean bed's coming up at a reasonable rate.
Con, maneuvering, making turns for 3,
Right.
3 knots.
That's me at flank speed. Now, everything that's listening, if it's not...
Con, torpedo room, tube 1.
Con sonar.
Passing 500 feet.
If it's not perturbed by
Passing 500 feet.
the torpedo coming towards it, will be able to hear me, because I'm making a ton of noise right now. Let's flip back to let's put the mini map to where I am. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we can detect this torpedo is right on me, and of course it's wire guided. So if I, and the song knows where I am. As soon as we take out the song, Sierra 6 behind me, and hopefully we'll get some notification of that. As soon as we take it out, we can rapidly change course.
Passing 400 feet.
Hopefully the torpedo's not going to follow me. What I really want to do here is skim the top of this little bump in the ocean floor and then drop down the other side. So if this torpedo goes live behind me, it'll run straight into the seabed. Now, what I don't want to
Less than 50 feet below
what
the
I
keel.
don't want to do is bump into the seabed, because at this speed it'll be pretty damaging for my boat. And ask me how I know. I think putting this a little close. That's 20 feet in it. In a second
Con
now.
sonar. Noisemaker bearing 214.
Maybe. There we go. Let's turn a little bit. Ah, it's getting deeper now. Good. Okay. So we might have just managed to pull this off just perfect. We'll see. And I'm going to steer around and hope that this torpedo
Con
goes
sonar.
live.
Noisemaker bearing 208. Con sonar. Noisemaker bearing
it's gone live.
216.
Now, if it detects me, which it
Con
hasn't
sonar.
so far,
Noisemaker bearing 2. Con sonar.
Okay,
Torpedo
it's
in the
detected
water.
me.
Torpedo in the water. Bearing 218.
I think we can pull this up. I think we can run it into the seabed floor. There's this big hill in the way, effectively. I think so. Okay. Yeah, and I think we can get down to 700 feet in short order. That's not a short person joke, by the way. Okay, there we go.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Con sonar. Con sonar. No longer cavitating.
Okay. Alright.
Passing 400 feet.
I'm going to turn... Well, I am turning hard to port. Let's
Con
straighten up my
sonar.
turn.
Regained contact on.
Passing 300 feet.
I've got my speed down. I've got myself in ultra silent mode, ultra quiet mode. What we want to do is take a listen for what's
Con
out
sonar. Noisemaker bearing 214.
there. We took out a couple of targets. Okay. Let's see. I think Sierra 5 is a Han. Just from the signature. Let's have a look. Yes, it
Con
is.
sonar. Con sonar. Regained contact on. Sierra 6. Bearing 212.
Okay. The Han is running away. Oh, he's possibly...
Con sonar. Noisemaker bearing 203.
No, I don't know what he's doing. And we've got more noisemakers and knuckles to the south-southwest. So,
Con sonar. Noisemaker bearing 207.
something is clearly rattling them. Let's go back to where I am. Okay, there's a torpedo heading not quite my way. I'm not too concerned about that. Let's go ahead and head south.
Come left to 180. Helm I.
Right, let's look at the other weapons I've got on board. So, the first slot is called AdCap at the bottom right of the screen there. That is a Mark 48 Mod 7. That is the AdCap we know and love from... Oh,
Con
hello.
sonar. Noisemaker bearing 203.
It's another torpedo heading my way. And... still a distance between us, but let's thread the needle and go between
Come
these
left to
torpedoes.
244. Helm I.
They're possibly operating at extreme range. I think, yeah, these are the ones that were fired way down here in the center of the screen. So they hopefully are operating at extreme range.
Con sonar. Noisemaker bearing 205.
So I'm not Hey, okay, one just blown up. Let's just check the second one. It's not going to run into the side of a hill, unfortunately. Okay, but it might run out of fuel. There we
Con,
go.
helm,
Hey,
steady course.
I love it when that happens. Okay, well, seeing as we're already heading this direction,
Come right to 262, helm aye.
so we know we've taken out 3. That's good. I'm gonna just let's continue my explanation of the weapons. So the slot number 1 is the ad cap, and I've just got one of those. Nothing wrong with the ad cap. Today's supposed to be a showcase of the Mark 52, not the Mark 48. It's faster than the Mark 48, makes a ton more noise. It's shorter ranged, but like I say, it's faster. Now, because it's
Con,
faster,
helm, steady course.
there may be an occasion when you really have to
Con
get.
sonar regained contact on Sierra 1, bearing 200.
Maybe an occasion when you really have to get a weapon towards the enemy as quickly as you possibly can, and I do have one of those just in case that circumstance arrives. But that said, the next weapon
Con
down.
sonar new contact bearing 205, designated Sierra 10.
The next weapon down is the Sea Lance. I'm just going to identify what this Sierra 10 is. It is. Improved kilo. Okay.
Con sonar Sierra 10 is classified as submerged submarine.
The PLA had, I think, estimated between 4, 5, or 6 improved kilos in service in 2000, give or take. And of course, these numbers cannot be exact because the Chinese don't tend to tell
Con
us these
sonar
things.
noisemaker bearing 200.
I'm tempted to get another weapon in the vicinity of what's going on here. Yeah, I think I will. Let me get above the layer
Make
first.
depth 4, 5 feet, dive high.
I think we'll get to about 100-foot depth.
Passing 200 feet.
There isn't a layer here, but we'll get above the layer that I believe is there. And that's because we can fire this weapon from
Con
long
sonar
range.
lost contact.
There goes the hand.
Sierra 1, last bearing 200. Contact breaking up.
I don't know. That's interesting.
Passing 100 feet.
Something's fired. That's that.
Con sonar
You?
lost contact. Sierra
Nope.
10, last bearing 205. Contact faded.
And I think that's gonna. Oops.
Make depth
I
4,
didn't mean to
5
quite
feet,
do that.
dive high.
Well, whilst we're on the surface, let's get some fresh air, chaps. Yeah, this is
Down
something
go.
you never want to do in a combat situation unless you have no choice. So I did not particularly want to get this thing on, or get her on the surface, but there we
Make
go.
depth 4, 5 feet, dive
Also,
high.
look at the size of the sail on that. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, we didn't want to do that. Oops. Right, so, yeah, I think that torpedo, they don't know where I am. They're just firing weapons in my general vicinity. What was I saying? Let's go back to Sea Lance, I think. Yeah, Sea Lance, this weapon was...
Con, dive at 4, 5 feet, dive high.
This weapon was cancelled in 1990, 1991, I believe. Let's get this weapon here.
Shoot 2-1,
Alright, there we
aye
go.
sir.
There's not much to really show when it gets launched, but off it goes. It was cancelled in 1990, 1991, 1992, after the collapse of the Soviet Union. It's a standoff weapon, so it's a rocket-powered torpedo that is flung up, sent to the vicinity of where you think the enemy submarine is, and it drops a Mark 46 torpedo. And of course, when that happens, then it then seeks out and hunts the target. I've got one of those on board. It's a good standoff weapon. It's quicker than the Mark 48 ad cap, but it has a minimum range, and it's 4 or 5 or 6,000 yards. That torpedo to my west just struck the side of the seabed. So that weapon, it's not exactly a standoff weapon, I don't suppose you might call it, but it is available if needed. So if I had a good idea where something was to the southwest of me, I could fire one of those at it. And the harpoon, well, that's essentially there because I've got a Sea Lance with me. So there's nothing wrong with a Mark 46. In fact, it's a modern enough weapon. It's got a good sensor head, but it doesn't have a particularly big warhead. So if it does manage to hit an enemy submarine, it's not so likely to kill it, to sink it. And if that happens, the enemy submarine might pop onto the surface. And if that happens, What that means is I might want to take it out with a harpoon, because who doesn't like killing submarines with a harpoon? So yeah. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the recording. We're going to let this torpedo continue south. I can identify a sonar ping from somewhere to my west-southwest. But there's a cluster of boats down here, and they are likely to be silently seeping north. And if that happens, I'm going to have a fight on my hands, so I'd like to be able to snipe at them, or maybe attack one from the east and they don't know where I am again. So, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back, and we'll chat soon. Okay, some considerable time has passed, and they still don't know where I am. But it looks like...
sonar, noisemaker, bearing.
Yeah, there's something light down there. So torpedo 1, I turned the corner, and then thought, what's fired a torpedo? It detected my torpedo traveling south, and I let it go for just a little bit.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
And now whatever it's fired upon, so I'm going to just ping it actively and see if we can detect it, get a better idea what it is. See how pinging actively has just upset the whole apple cart? And there's more submarines pinging me actively now. Now, Sierra 11, this Romeo class, I previously hadn't identified that. I couldn't say that much about its true location. Something got an active return on me there. Okay. And I can't detect what this thing is firing. Oh, I can now. Hello. I guess that's the Romeo
sonar,
then.
Noisemaker, bearing 188.
I mean, it's not for sure. We can't determine that, but I'm pretty sure that that's, well, that is a Romeo. Pretty sure that that's a
Con,
Romeo.
fire control, weapon acquired.
And he's about to catch one of my new stealth torpedoes. It never even saw it coming. Well, it did. It just couldn't get away. So, and that's how the object lesson to use this weapon is. You fire at long range, you keep the wire attached, and then you dogleg it around and intercept or prosecute the target, to use the military terminology.
Sonar regained contact on Sierra 5, bearing 1.
At such a range that there's not much you can do about it. Kaboom.
Sonar, noisemaker, bearing 189.
Well, another one bites the dust.
Sonar lost contact. Sierra 5, last bearing 1.
Let's go back to me.
5.
And that
Contact faded.
that was not the Romeo.
Sonar lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing 213. Contact faded.
So my identification was incorrect. We still don't know where this Romeo is, but we'll have a pretty good idea soon. I think I'm going to go ahead and I think I want to get a weapon launched. Let's send one on the other side of the submarine. Oh, there you are. Hello.
Shoot tube 4. Aye, sir.
Going to send this behind me, like so. Oh, I don't want the thing to run into me when I launch it, so I give it just a few seconds. I probably should have... Yeah, okay. Hindsight being a wonderful thing, but... Come on, let's get down below the waves. There we go. Okay. I'm going to look at this from his engagement. Can he detect this yet, I wonder?
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
Where am I? Oh, there I am. Duh. Okay. I don't think he can even detect or hear my torpedo right now. And that's very interesting because I'm not that far away. I'm 3,000 yards. I could launch it, I could direct it at the target right now, and he wouldn't even know I was... Well, he probably knows that I'm there. Except maybe not. And very soon he's going to come under attack. Why is this? Is he below a layer? Aha. He's below a layer. That's why. I'm above the layer is more particular. So this tells me that layers are very powerful. My torpedo is, of course, also above the layer. I'm going to accelerate time here.
Sonar, Sierra 7 is classified as submerged submarine.
Let's do that, and then let's tell it to engage. It's going to be a head-on shot, so we'll do this. Now, Sierra 7's
Con
identified.
sonar, launch transient from Sierra 1-1.
Did we sink Sierra 7? Is that what's going on? I don't see Sierra 7, but okay. Right, now, and the reason why we dogleg is he's now detected this torpedo going live. But, excuse me. But he's fired upon where he thinks the torpedo is coming from, which of course is not the case. Yeah. We can watch this engagement from the perspective
Con
of
sonar, noisemaker bearing 157.
me. Let's see, he's somewhere. Can I see him? Not sure. Let's tell this torpedo active.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
So I can see the torpedo descending, but I don't see him. I can see the noisemaker though.
Con, fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 158.
So let's steer the submarine.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
He's running, which I don't.
Con, fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
Aim him. I see the second noisemaker, but I don't see him. Let's go ahead and ping actively with the sonar. He doesn't really have a hope of being able to escape.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Still can't see him, but give him a second. We will see him blow. There he is.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 1-1. Last bearing 156. Contact breaking up.
I'm in a non-stealthy submarine, and I'm tackling the enemy, and they don't know where I am. This is wonderful. This is what we built this weapon for, so I guess it works. So what's that we know we've killed? So we've taken on 1, 2, 5 confirmed kills. Now there's no such thing as an ace in the submarine warfare, so I don't think there is. We've taken on 5, and I think that there's plenty more to go, but I think the object lesson here has been achieved, and that is used correctly, this weapon can be very, very powerful as a stealthy torpedo, and even in a non-optimized vessel. Now in the Seawolf, this thing could be devastating because the Seawolf is faster, it has much deeper depth capacity, it's got stacks of torpedoes, and it's got 8 wires and 8 tubes. So I think the Seawolf in this weapon would be very, very dangerous. But even the humble skipjack is managing to do great things. Right, well I'm gonna call it for this particular mission.
Torpedo room, tube 4 ready. Rig ship for ultra quiet.
I think we need to see me defeat every single Russian, every single Chinese torpedo. It's not an inevitable conclusion, but it seems set. So, hope you got something from this, hope you enjoyed it, and if you have, let me know. And if you thought it sucked, also let me know. And I'll see you the next time. Goodbye.